Space is beautiful from a distance. A black sky, quiet stars, and that comforting illusion that everything out there is calm. But the deeper we look, the more we realize the universe isn't peaceful, it's just indifferent. And sometimes, what we find is genuinely terrifying, not because it's evil, but because it's real. Tonight, we're counting down 5 of the most terrifying things ever found in space. Not movie monsters, not aliens with perfect English. Real discoveries that made scientists pause and go, okay, that's not great. And we're starting with number 5. Imagine a planet where the weather forecast is iron vapor, molecules tearing apart, and a sky hot enough to shred chemistry itself. Meet Kelt 9b. It's a gas giant, but calling it a hot Jupiter feels like calling the sun a warm lamp. On its day side, temperatures climb past 4,000 degrees Celsius. That's hotter than many stars. At that heat, the atmosphere doesn't just boil, it breaks molecules apart. Water can't exist, methane can't exist. Even sturdy chemical bonds get ripped open like wet paper. And here's the part that makes it feel cursed. That heat is intense enough that iron can exist as vapor in the atmosphere. Not metal melts, not metal glows. Metal becomes air. If you could float above this planet's day side, you wouldn't see clouds like Earth. You'd see a violent, glowing haze of atoms and ions, whipped around by winds, moving through a nightmare furnace. This isn't a place you'd survive. This is a place where the concept of survival doesn't even apply. Number 4. Now imagine a planet with no sun, not a distant sun, not a dim sun, none. These are rogue planets, worlds that drift through space alone, untethered, invisible unless they pass in front of something bright enough for us to notice. Some were likely born in solar systems like ours, then thrown out, ejected by gravitational chaos, like being kicked out of your home at escape velocity. One of the creepiest examples ever detected is a likely rogue planet called OGLE 2016, BLG 1928, discovered through a microlensing event that lasted less than an hour. That's how subtle these objects are. They don't shine, they don't reflect much. They just move through darkness. And if rogue planets exist in huge numbers, then the galaxy might be full of them. Cold worlds wandering between stars, carrying frozen oceans, shattered atmospheres, maybe even moons. Here's why that's terrifying. Space already feels empty. Rogue planets prove it's not empty. It's just full of things you can't see until they're right there. A planet-sized object, floating in interstellar night, could pass through a solar system without anyone noticing until it disturbs everything around it. Rogue planets are cosmic reminders that the universe has plenty of mass and not nearly enough light. Number 3. In 2017, astronomers spotted something streaking through our solar system on a path that didn't make sense for a normal asteroid. It wasn't orbiting the sun. It was passing through. That object was Oumuamua, the first confirmed interstellar visitor ever detected. It came from outside our solar system, raced around the sun, and left again, like it had places to be. And what made it terrifying wasn't just that it was interstellar, it was that it was weird. It didn't behave exactly like a normal comet, because it showed no obvious tail. It tumbled unpredictably. And measurements suggested a small, non-gravitational push in its motion, which triggered years of debate. Scientists proposed natural explanations, unusual outgassing, strange shape, exotic composition. Others went further. And even if you ignore the most extreme speculation, the real fear stays. Something from another star system passed close enough for us to detect it, and we barely noticed in time. Since then, we've found more. 2I/Borisov in 2019. And then in 2025, astronomers confirmed 3I/Atlas, another interstellar comet. Think about what that means. Our solar system is not sealed. It's not isolated. It's sitting in a galactic ocean, and sometimes things drift in. Most are harmless rocks and ice. But the terrifying part is the principle. We are not the only system throwing objects into space. And we are not the only system receiving them. The universe has traffic. And sometimes it doesn't file a flight plan. Number 2. Now we get to the stuff that doesn't just look scary. It's physically dangerous on a level that's hard to picture. A magnetar is a type of neutron star. It's what you get when a massive star dies, collapses, and squeezes more mass than the sun into a sphere the size of a city. And then, somehow, it ends up with a magnetic field so strong it sounds fake. A magnetar's magnetic field can be around 10 to the power of 15 Gauss. For comparison, Earth's is less than 1 Gauss. A powerful MRI machine is tens of thousands of Gauss. A magnetar is beyond category. If a magnetar got close enough, its magnetic field could literally mess with the atoms in your body. It could distort electron clouds, disrupt chemistry, and do things that make radiation poisoning feel like an understatement. But the truly terrifying part is what happens when a magnetar cracks. In 2004, a magnetar called SGR 1806-20 released a giant flare. It was so powerful that instruments detected its impact even from tens of thousands of light years away. The burst affected Earth's upper atmosphere. This wasn't a supernova. It wasn't the death of a star. It was basically a starquake, a reconfiguration of an absurd magnetic field releasing a blast of gamma rays. If something like that happened much closer to Earth, it wouldn't be a beautiful cosmic event. It would be an environmental disaster. Magnetars are terrifying because they're proof that the universe can store violence like a battery, and then discharge it in a fraction of a second. Number 1. The kind of event that reminds you Earth is not protected by anything except distance and luck. On October 9, 2022, detectors picked up a gamma-ray burst so powerful it earned a nickname, the Boat, the brightest of all time. Officially, it's GRB 221009A. Gamma-ray bursts are the most extreme explosions we observe. They happen when massive stars collapse into black holes or neutron stars, launching jets of energy across space. This one was so bright, it overwhelmed instruments. It produced an afterglow that was studied across the electromagnetic spectrum, and it had measurable effects on Earth's atmosphere, despite being billions of light years away. Here's the terrifying part. A gamma-ray burst is basically a cosmic sniper shot. It's not a gentle sphere of light expanding evenly. It's a focused beam. If a sufficiently close GRB were aimed directly at Earth, it could damage the ozone layer and hammer the planet with radiation. No dramatic fireball. No warning sirens. Just a flash of high-energy photons and a slow-motion catastrophe afterward. GRB 221009A was far away, and we were fine. But it proved something uncomfortable. The universe can produce a burst so violent that it reaches across billions of light years and still leaves fingerprints on our sky. That's not horror. That's physics. So those were 5 of the most terrifying things found in space. A planet that vaporizes metal. Worlds that roam in darkness. Interstellar visitors slipping through our neighborhood. Magnetars that rewrite the rules of matter. And gamma-ray bursts that remind us how fragile distance really is. Space isn't out to get you. It doesn't need to be. It's dangerous by default. And the more we discover, the clearer it becomes. The universe is not scary because it hates us. It's scary because it doesn't even notice us. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this countdown, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which one terrified you the most. See you in the next one.